All right, here we got 2015 Ford Explorer, about 50 to 60,000 miles. It runs fast, love the look. Various problems with it across the last couple of years. Sunroof that won't close. That's what this video is about. How do you get it closed before you get it to the dealer? Other things like chafed wiring for the airbags in the back seat. Parking lever sensor going bad, so it doesn't know if it's in park, and then squealing tensioner in the engine compartment. So here we go. I'm sort of beside myself because I already fixed it once, closed it up, wanted to bring the shade forward, and of course somehow the electronics are screwed up enough that the sunroof started opening again. So I'm going to bring you quickly through all of the steps. There are no other videos out there that show all the steps. So here we go. We're going to do it real quick. I'm going to bring the side thing off. I'm going to start pulling down, taking out with a torque screwdriver. We're going to start taking out each of the screws here. One's here. Then we're going to take a really small screwdriver and start popping this sucker off. Yeah, this is like one of those things where you just have to sort of do it. There we go. It starts coming from the front, I guess. So you do two parts. One, you know, the main thing that we're doing here is trying to take this off. Do all this work because you know that you try to bring it to the dealer and there's no way they're going to be able to see you immediately. And of course, who knows if it's gonna rain or what, right? So we got some more torque screws to take out here. Main thing here is you sort of let it hang. Yeah, the electronics, letting it hang by the electronics isn't the best thing, but what are you going to do? All right, and then you're going to do the passenger side as well. Trying to get this whole thing off here. Pull that out, move the piece of plastic down the shaft of the visor. Just a couple of thoughts here. Before you do all this kind of stuff, what you want to do is just make sure that you don't have like a basic problem. There are other videos online where you can see how they check the continuity of the switches in the center console. You know, we might as well, I'll show you just how to take the center console. You reach out in the front. I'm sorry, you reach here in the front, you know, from the inside of the cabin. You pull down, this whole thing comes off, right? And what you can do if you want to test continuity, like in the other videos, see these little clips. You can use your thumb, pull it out. And what you can do is if you hold it like this, where the notch is up like that, that bottom right hand corner pin is pin 12, and you can with black and your ohm meter, you can put black on there and you can just go across the different pins while pressing each of the buttons, pulling them up, pushing them down, just to make sure that that works. It's not actually a piece that goes bad from what I can tell, so we put that on the side. So now we've got two visors down, and what's actually going to happen here, there's a whole bunch of magnets that hold up this entire thing. So now you can begin to pull down. Right, and we're not going to pull that. We're not going to do this side, but we are going to be able to pull down this whole side here. And if you hand me the camera, I will show everybody. Hopefully you can see that. That is the motor that I have a problem with. It's on the driver's side, and I'm going to show you how to sort of get at it so that you can at least hook up some power to it, and then close your window so that you have some time before going to the dealer. What we do is we can pull this entire thing down, as you can see. So there are like little clips here. Now just be careful, like there's some clips that are important and some that are not. So what you're looking for is you're looking for the clips that are black and go to the metal here, okay? Not the stuff that looks like it's not really connected. So well, as I'm looking at it, it's the first and the third that I'm going to undo here. First, third, and then if we come around the side, you can actually put your hand through the console here. There's one on the side over here, and then the whole thing just like comes down, right? And that's what this looks like. So there's actually a controller, as you can see here, and this piece right here, there, I don't know if you can see it, there's a clip here, so you can actually take this piece off as well. Now I had cleaned this thinking that, hey, maybe all I need to do is clean it. Now when I took this off the first time, there's a whole bunch of gook in here, and there was actually some rust on the board back here by the pins. So I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna clean this and make it work again. Well, unfortunately that never happened. It's partially working, but it's really confused. So the next thing we're gonna do right now is, I don't know if you can see this, or maybe if you come in from this side, like here, I'll try to show it to you. There's a couple different, there's some pins that we're actually trying to get to. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to see. But there's some pins back here. There, you can see one of them there. Oh no, you can see two. Okay. All right, so now what we're gonna do, now that we just look at those leads that are sitting there, those are direct leads to the motor itself. So we're gonna hook up these little alligator clamp leads. You know, it's like just standard stuff, cheap stuff you can get at the store. You probably already have it. So now I have, geez, this stuff is made for people with little hands. Okay, so now that we have the two leads, we're gonna clamp it. Oh, by the way, this is from my alarm system in the house. It's a 12-volt battery. You need 12 volts to run this motor. I don't know what the polarity is here, so we may go forward, we may go back. I don't know. But all right, we're going back. That's not what we want. All right, so we're gonna switch it. We're gonna go forward. All right, now one thing I'm gonna do here is I have to go outside, make sure it closes right. I think that's about closed. All right. So just some thoughts. If you have one of those emergency battery starters or something like that, you could also use that instead. You know, if you're at home and you have an alarm system, your alarm system probably has a battery. All right. So my son's really smart. He said, "Why don't we test it to make sure that it's really closed?" Because it's not really clear sometimes, the glass, you know, like where is it going to be? Because if you keep on running it, obviously it starts to tilt up, right? Because there's a tilt function as well. So you want to get it in the right place. And one thing that we're going to do here is we're just going to test. All right, so we just put water on the car. We're just looking around, looking at the seals, see if any water came in. There's definitely water outside, but none that I see inside, which is good. All right, so now putting it all back together again. Sort of take off the leads, throw that out of the car. I'm not really sure if you want to do this or not. I'm a little concerned that without some of the electronics being there, you know, it's going to get lost, damaged, I don't know. But you can put that piece back on, you know, and this can also go on, and it clips like that, right? And then in addition to that, then back seat, if you want, I don't know if you can see that, but we can begin to also put this all back together again. Right. And we can put these clips if we really want to. should have done that before I slid it back in there, but it fits. Okay, so now all right, so now important things are wiring's connected. We've got the wires here that we're going to connect to the center console. We also have not unplugged anything related to the mirror. So of course the mirror has some leads that go into it for the auto dim. So many features on this car that are not entirely necessary. All right, so we're gonna start putting this all back together again. So you may remember, like, all these magnets, right? You wanna make sure that this liner goes inside the car. All right, so the ceiling's going inside the lip here, making sure that's all like that. All right, remember that these two are probably the easiest ones to put back in. Probably an optimum rotation of this visor. If I remember correctly, you got to pay attention, like the wiring you want to have towards the front. So I'm sort of rotating the visor so that electronics stay to the front. All right, and then there's that plastic piece. On this one, it came off, not a big deal. You just put it back on, and you slide it up like that, and then the visor is done. All right, now we're gonna do the other side. There we go. Swing this forward. Slip towards the front. It's closed. Alright, so now we got our center part. We're going to connect up the power to the lights, the power to the control modules for both motors, and also the mirror. That all goes through here. And then we're going to go opposite order here, right? So we're sort of leaning it forward, clipping it in the front, and then, okay, so we're almost done. So we're just going to try to get this piece in as best as we can. All right, so what we're trying to do is get these different tabs to align with the tabs along the side here. So, you know, the bottom one has to go in, and all of them have to, like this tab here. It's a pain trying to get this thing back in properly. Trying to get it in the lip. It's a lot of, I don't know. Sort of bully it in there as best as you can. So that's it. That pretty much does it. We have put the whole thing back together again. Just to recap, we pulled it all down, disconnected the electronics, hooked up the leads, ran the motor manually to bring the glass forward, and then really just put everything back together again. And if we want a real fix on this, we're gonna have to bring it into the dealer, because pretty much figured out that the controller's no good. That was done by just sort of cleaning the electronics, a little brush, got all the rust off, but still the electronics, something shot on that controller board. So other things to check is simple stuff. It could be one of the switches. I recommend, once you've done all this, do not touch the switches again. It's very possible that it's confused enough that the glass will start going back again. But you know, that's an easy check. Another easy check is check your manual. There's a fuse up in the engine compartment for the motors. as well as another fuse in the cabin that I guess controls the switches or something of that sort. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got to thank a couple people that already had some videos on the topic, but I figured that it would be good to do a end-to-end that had all the steps on it. So good luck.